And I think we're going to get started. Oh, look at that. It's popping up on there. That's a good start. All right. A bit nervous, but I think it's going to be okay. Put this up here. See. Wish me luck. Okay, there's streaming. Facebook still says sending data, but it seems all right. Let me know if you're there. Chat room, hello. The only question will be when I go to my camera, will I be able to see tools? No, I don't have source stuck in there yet. Now, when I go to my settings, let's see. I've been messing around with a bunch of stuff. Okay. Let's do this. I have no auto buttons, so we've just got to go. Let's see. Oh, I'm frozen. Look at that. I'm not even wearing the right jacket. That's hilarious. Don't. Oh, I know what I can do. Well, let's see. Studio mode. I'm going to crash the whole thing. Why not? Okay, we shall see. This is a lot of fun. All right, let's see. How do we refresh the thing? Properties. Switch to that camera, then switch back to this camera. Hey, look at that. Oh, I'm moving again. Look at that. Okay, that's all I needed. I needed to just wake up for a second. It was so very sad. All right, here we go. Let's go out of studio mode and back to the show. I've been working on this. There we go. Hey, look at that. I'm up and running. It's been crazy. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Sound is all right. Let's see. We don't know. Apparently my reactions are on, which is fine, I suppose. If reactions, do we do this way? Or this? No, they're not working. Okay, well, then never mind. Good, because I'm running on a Mac right now, and so it's being a temperamental. As long as Hal doesn't start sounding British, yeah, that's when you know things are particularly bad. You know that when that's things get rough. Let me see if I feel like I'm too hot, lady. Audio wise, pretty good. I don't have a lower third. We'll just have to. You guys will just have to guess who I am. Trying to figure out what's going on. Lots to show you, and yet frustrating. This morning, I ran into this problem, obviously, with the clicking audio and all that stuff that was going on, and I just had it. So I tore apart my entire system and sort of started from scratch. So apologies right out of the gate for being a little bit late, but that's why. I mean, when you set the standard to be the greatest live stream in the history of live streams, you know, you got a lot to live up to. And I'm not just going to throw in the towel on this. Now, hold on a second. Funds. Oh, shut up. And now let's see if we can. Let's see if I can reload the page and it stays, or reload and it auto starts. I don't want you to shut up. I don't want you to auto start. Okay, never mind. Now, here we go. All right. So lots of stuff. Yes, my lower third is missing. That's right. It's actually the thing where it has my name. You know, here, you'll have to figure it out. You'll learn who I am. We'll work it out. I actually, let's see, I moved a bunch of stuff around, and I think, let's see, and open on here. I think we shall see what we shall see. There we go. Maybe, oh yeah, here, wait. I got a good one. Hold on. This might solve the problem. Slide it all the way across, and pow. Okay, there it is. That's a little big. It's a little, I mean, hey, I am as Hal Sparks as anybody is going to Hal Sparks anytime soon. It looks nice. I like the little rotating thing around. That's not bad. That'll hold. You guys get to watch me just doing tech support on my own show. That's what today is. Because damn, I was mad. How was I supposed to know the thing was mad? Well, Now you know. And then let's see, put it in the vertical sources. So the people, I'm sad that the people on Substack and Instagram don't know who I am. They're very confused. They show up and they're like, who is this handsome stranger? Well, here I am. Slide this down here and shrink it down a little bit. There you go. Boink. There we go. Move it over here. And look, isn't that much nicer? There you go. Fantastic. That's right. That's go big or go home. I mean, if you can't have like the stars moving in the background while you're walking around on your own spaceship, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now the question is, and you know what? I today is just going to be a BTS work scene thing. I'm just going to do the show, and I'm going to fix it as we go because I don't care, and sometimes it'll hurt. River. You know what I mean? But and I think that should be louder, personally.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, let me jack that up a little bit and shrink this guy down. Yeah. I just got really tired of my. Why is this? Okay. Do this way. Move that way. There you go. Hopefully this is louder. Let me see. Pretty good. Should be all right.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live. All
right, good. Okay. Well, at least we got that worked out for the most part. And then song-wise, I even have, well, I don't have it. I'm not even going to mess around with it right now. But right now.
You are watching Hegseth, Megaworldwide, and we're glad you're along for the ride.
I feel like I should dim the lights.
Is here by your side. So please, would you like and subscribe?
It's a question I think we all have for ourselves. Should we dim the lights? I think so. Let's groove. All right. Come on. I've got a lot of I have videos to do. I can't just play. I mean, I kind of can. I mean, it's my show, I guess. Whatever. Wait, I moved over a bunch of my sound effects too.
Wow.
I know, it's impressive.
Wow.
That's what I said when I saw that. That's right. And then, of course, I build a spaceship because I prefer metal.
I like wood.
Yeah, I don't. I like metal.
Deeper and longer.
Well, I'm not here to, yuck anybody's yum.
Stop it!
You know it. Okay, so I will start rebuilding all of our favorite elements sometime soon. But, yeah, we're all right. What happened to Mikey? I love when people who watched Queer as Folk, when they meet me, treat me like somebody who has who's an imposter, who has their real friend trapped in the trunk of their car. Because you know what that means? It means I'm a fantastic actor. That's what that means. All right. So let me, as I'm getting all this stuff working again, if I may, and I think that I can, let's check out the chat room. Let's see if that works. Hey, look at that. There you guys are. Look at that. All right. Oh, such a relief when I can actually see you guys. And it's, the text is a little bit, yeah. Yeah, if you're a serial killer, you have a head start. Thanks, Cash Patel. Absolutely. You could have wood, though, so it's something that gets it. That's right. I could. I built a log cabin for one of the comedy shows we did to support the Harris campaign. And I've still got that set somewhere. I could probably whip it out. Nothing wrong with whipping out your wood.
I like wood.
Well, sure. You would.
Deeper and longer.
I don't really care so much about that. But we've got everything, all the digital fixins that I will need to get the show up on its feet today, at the very least, at the bare minimum.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
I don't have that. I don't have those, though, because I don't know what
Action replays in magnified fortune
actually are. So that's a bit rough. Okay, so you know how you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the show, shall we? House Parks, Megaworldwide, like, subscribe, thumbs up, all the stuff that I usually say. Now, you know how you can tell when people sort of over-explain in a situation, and it's abundantly clear that they are feeling caught, trapped. That they've got this weird feeling that people can see right through them, and that they figure they fall back on that good old default that we all have. Maybe I can just bullshit my way out of it, right? It's a great system. It's a tool that, well, I won't say it's great. It's a tool that works a decent amount of the time, sort of. And when it doesn't, it's really bad. And when it does, you're mostly like, okay, you only get one of those a month. Anyways, so when I realized at one point, let's see if I can click this forward. I realized that there are a couple, while we're hearing way too much about the Doge boys, the Doge bags, there are a couple members of the cabinet that kind of came in. We all knew that they would be fuck-arounds and really are way in over their head and don't know, can't find the handle on the toilet, much less figure out how to run an enormous organization. And so what they're going to try to do, it seems, is they're going to try and flim-flam their way out of it. Just do the presentational stuff. The look busy and sound busy. That's the methodology that a lot of these dickheads are going for. And one person sort of stood out to me in this situation. It was this fellow right here. Oh, no, hold on. This. Oh, it's in the window. I see. Wait, this one? There you go. Why should you do that? Oh, I see, because it has to redo it or something. Hold on. Why would you do that? All right, properties, and then restart the capture. There we go. Okay, it's adorable. I'm learning little quirks. It's gonna happen. This guy, Pete's Dragon, Pete Bags Sniff. Yeah, Pete Bags Sniff. The sick deaf. Has somebody posted this video, but it's just a direct. They lifted it someplace else, and they titled it "Trump's Defense Secretary sure doesn't fuck around." That was the title of their video, which is adorable, and I'm sure he looks like he approves. I would like to say, if I may, and thank you so much for everybody who's. I don't have an events window where I can check out what's going on, so I will try and pay attention to the lovely things. Gracious thanks to everybody who pops up in the alert box, which will be, as the kids say today, fire. In the meantime, let's listen in. He has a message directly for you, the American people, because apparently a lot of you are under the impression that he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he's wasting taxpayer dollars, and they're cutting funds and willy-nilly, eliminating programs that help veterans, because that's exactly what DOGE has been doing. He wants to set the record straight. So let's hear it. Let's hear him set the record straight. Go ahead, Pete Bagsniff, right here. Here we go.
You, the American people, work really hard to support the men and women in uniform who keep our country safe.
Yes, the men and women, yes.
We, in turn, owe you transparency on what we're doing to accomplish our core mission, which is securing the nation and spending your taxpayer dollars, ours, wisely.
You kind of don't, actually. I mean, there's certainly within limits, I expect a certain amount of oversight in the House and the Senate, but I would rather just take what I would call a safety dividend. If you tell me you're doing all these things, and yet some asshole manages to, I don't know, dump a bioweapon in the United States, and everybody's anti-mask all of a sudden because of Trump, and we start losing people hand over fist, I would say I don't give a fuck what you were saying you were doing at any given point. You only get to say you were successful after you're done. That's what this job is. Because that's one of the reasons why the defense budget bloats all the time, and why nobody has wants to really cut it. Because what if you cut the one program that ended up being the loophole by which killers got in and did something awful, or a foreign government was able to, weasel their way in, right? You're the person that went, I don't know, who the fuck cares about that? Because somebody else thought about it, and you're brand new, and you don't play chess. You play checkers with your face. You just drink until you pass out on the checkerboard, and then you only move pieces around with your slobber. So no, I actually don't kind of care in that respect. I mean, it'd be nice to know if there are programs that you're doing long term, and we see how that's working out. And if things that are obvious, 5th generation to 6th generation fighters, making sure that we're hiring the best for cybersecurity, things like that, where you could kind of feel okay about entering your credit card into Amazon because you don't think, North Korean hackers are going to say steal all your Bitcoin, which they did, which was fucking hilarious. Oh, you're saying, Hal, what do you mean North Korean hackers stole everybody's Bitcoin? Maybe could that possibly be why Bitcoin took a giant shit recently? Besides the fact that everybody's worried about the fact that Trump doesn't know what he's doing and the people he put in charge of crypto are stupid. No, it's not just that. It's this just happened. Yeah. 24 February 2025. How North Korea pulled off a $1.5 billion crypto heist, the biggest in history. Yes, that's right. Your phony baloney money that only exists on a hard drive someplace is apparently not safe from North Korean thieves or anybody else. This wallet is too hot. This one is too cold. Researchers for blockchain analysis, among others, said over the weekend that the techniques and flow of subsequent laundering of the funds bear the signature of threat actors working on behalf of North Korea. The revelation comes, they stole $1.5 billion. This is the biggest heist in Bitcoin history, but it's also a $500 million bigger than any cash heist. The biggest cash heist ever was Saddam Hussein stealing from his own fucking country when he literally stole $1 billion as the war was happening. By the way, this pales in comparison to the on the daily theft of the worth and wealth of the people of Russia, for example, by Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping's CCP princeling brotherhood that just kind of sap all the work out of everybody in China and build a bunch of tofu dreg companies. But anyways, on just to add that to the pile. Okay, here we go. What would this guy say?
Shoot straight with you. We want you, the American people, the taxpayers, to understand why we're making the decisions that we're making here. First and foremost, as we're executing as quickly as possible the priorities of President Donald Trump.
Okay. He is going to describe the priorities of President Donald Trump. And it'll come as no shock to you that they are vaguely anti-DEI stuff. Just, if there's anybody black in there, they were probably hired just because they're black. Black, right? That seems to be the depth of this thought. So,
achieving peace through strength, restoring the warrior ethos.
Okay, peace through strength, which definitely doesn't sound like cutting the budget to me. Restoring the warrior ethos. So I suppose so that drone operators, instead of focusing on the gears in front of them, will go while they're going, yes, are you not entertained? Yeah, the warrior ethos of drone operators. The warrior ethos of the quartermaster and the I don't know, the mechanic pool.
Rebuilding our military and reestablishing deterrence. Those are no-brainers.
Yes, well, thank God. You seem perfect for the job then. Run that by me again, the last two.
Warrior ethos, rebuilding our military.
Rebuilding our military. What do you mean? Rebuilding it? Sorry, we spent all of it in 4 years. I thought it was the biggest and best it had ever been, and shiny, and all the nuclear silos got a new Jerusalem stone backsplash and everything. And apparently it was so great it was able to be spent tangentially by us giving our old gear to Ukraine. I see. rebuilding. All right, you got it. So time to ratchet up. Let's. What he's basically saying is that, you know, that money we're spending on defense, double it.
Reestablishing deterrence. Those are no-brainers.
Reestablishing deterrence. Yeah, I don't. How do you budget for that? What do you think? Anybody know what the line item on reestablishing deterrence is? What do you mean, more nukes? You just want to build up Moabs? Or you mean is you want the world to view our military and the president as somebody having a hair trigger and not giving a shit about human life? That's what he means. I'm just telling you. That's what he means. That's what deterrence means. Oh my fucking God, this asshole is crazy. He'll kill us all. That's their idea of deterrence. Just for the record. Now, I don't know what that has to do with the fucking budget. Is there a crazy tax? If there is, we could pay off the deficit just with these assholes running around. Shit, RFK Jr., if he had to pay a loco tax, that motherfucker, we'd pay off the debt.
And the American people gave a mandate to President Trump.
No, they didn't. 78-75. Again, if it was a basketball tournament, you'd say it was 1 3-pointer. 75 million people can't stand the motherfucker. So simmer. Next, whenever you have if you have a 60-40 election, I'll hear you out on this mandate nonsense. But you've got a hair's breadth edge in the House. You've got a small edge in the Senate, and Trump's in office. You have all three of those. That means you have all the responsibility, but you don't have a mandate. You do not.
And through him to us to double down on those priorities, and that's exactly what we're doing. Now, the legacy.
How do you double down on priorities you're just starting to implement? I'm going to be crazier than he is. I would like to remind everyone, can I just say, this is blather. This is from the Department of Defensive. This is just blather. Pete Bagsniff is very upset that nobody thinks he's qualified. And so he's going to come in and say a bunch of like managerial speak, reiterate the CEO's priorities, say we're on top of it, and hope that creates the illusion of competency.
The media has, of course, a different agenda. You see the same clickbait headlines that I do. Time.
You mean on Fox News or Newsmax or yeah, I do. Fucking The Blaze, Jesus, don't get me started.
Time the media distorts good news stories or often just gets them flat wrong. In many cases, well, in most cases, they have an agenda. Other times they are just lazy, as they often are, and they.
Yes, we know they're lazy. They hired you at one point to do a morning show on Sundays. I would like examples. When you drop these kind of things, you can't just wander through and go, everything they say about us is wrong for like 4 different reasons. Sometimes they're wrong and sometimes they're lazy and sometimes they're stupid and sometimes they're mad. Well, I'm going to need an example of all 4 of those so I know if you know what the shit you're talking about, which you don't.
Don't take time to actually understand the facts. I encourage you to take that media, those negative reports about important decisions that we're making at the department with a gigantic grain of salt, please.
Well, then it wouldn't be a grain, would it? Be a big salt lick or something. Also, why is it? I thought this was the Department of Defense.
The only thing I care about is doing right by the warfighters, by the troops. In short.
Really? I thought you were supposed to defend the Constitution and make sure that the warfighters, the troops, have everything they need to protect the country in its defense. I'm kidding.
We want the biggest, most badass military on the planet, on God's.
We have that by a lot. What you mean is fewer chicks. That's what you're talking about.
Earth. I'm in this room right now, but I'm not alone. Behind the camera are lots of vets and military family members, along with.
Yeah, I believe you. Yeah, the room doesn't sound hollow and still.
Other people who, like you, are invested in exactly what that core mission is. So when we make decisions that are misreported in the media, we're going to try to get to you as quickly as possible. And not just me, it'll be other people.
You're going to try to get to us as quickly as possible? Why don't you just put out a statement? The Pentagon has a press secretary. You've got your little podium. What are you going to do? Do a fucking podcast?
As well. So you understand the real thought process behind them and then how they relate to our core mission of fighting and winning war, hopefully deterring them, but fighting and winning wars, and then how we spend your taxpayer dollars wisely to accomplish that mission.
Why would you have to say all that shit if the story's just wrong? Why wouldn't you just come out and go, yeah, they say we cut this, we didn't cut that? Unless you're going to come in and say, oh, we did cut that. That was true. But it wasn't because of the reason. They said, we cut it because of other reasons. Does it make any difference to the people the cuts affected? No.
So to that end, we have 3 stories that have come out. Stay with me. 3 stories over the past couple of days that
I am already bored.
Want to update you on. The first is DOGE.
Okay, first story is DOGE. Here's the story. The story is DOGE, and he's got to set the record straight on the story of DOGE. Let's hear it. What was the story? What did the press say, and how wrong were they, and on what points? Let's hear it.
We're here, and we're welcoming them. In fact, right over there, about 20 minutes ago, I just met with them.
Yeah, I don't care where they sat, asshole. And again, what the fuck? It's meaningless. Are they saying, did the news story say you've never met with them? I did. I met with them right over there. All right, well, then tell us they said you haven't even spoken to them or some shit, or they've never been there, blah, 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 right? I don't even know what this is.
And we're going to be incorporating into what we're doing at DOD, everything they're doing to find fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yeah. Good for you. It in alignment with the president's priorities.
In the largest discretionary budget in the federal government.
Pentagon, you consider Pentagon discretionary spending? That seems like a must-pass, non-discretionary, already spoken for, I guess. Maybe half of it. Maybe he considers VA benefits discretionary at this point, since he's got a retirement from Fox and this job.
They're going to have broad access. Obviously, with all the safeguards on classification, they know that. Many of them are vets. They care just like we do.
Sure. Yeah. Look, you don't need to know their names. Many of them are vets and they care. That's all you need to know. The ones that aren't might not, and they might be the actual people that are accessing your social security number and your credit score and all of the information about you and the deed to your house. But, some of them are vets. So, and they care. We think. And if, like the guy who was sitting right over there, his name, it's jump. I had it right here. The guy he had a bunch of people. There was there were a bunch of them. And one of them said, I'm a vet. And I was like, oh, cool. Me too. And then I forgot to get his name because that's just working at Fox. I worked there so long. It makes you not give a shit about humans.
The redundancies and identify the last vestiges of Biden priorities, the DEI, the woke, the climate change BS, that's not core to our mission.
The DEI, the woke, the climate BS. What do you think in the DEI, the woke, and also what qualifies as fucking woke, that again, and the climate change BS that has nothing to do with your core missions, even though you got to kind of shore up the like ports that we control in the rest of the world and in this country, and the environmental changes will impact those things, and a 2 centimeter change in global the measurement point. There's a satellite way that they measure the ocean surface. And it's always shocked me. It's like, how do you know 2 or 10 centimeters have changed in the surface of the ocean? And obviously, because the ocean's always moving. But apparently, there's this standardized middle of the wave, effectively, that they use as the main measure. And there are satellites that can measure to that point against the ground below and go, hey, look, we're starting to get a little refraction in the laser before it hits the ground, which is deep into the ocean. And that's how we know, these minute changes. And if you have a couple of centimeters difference in the surface of the ocean, if it comes up a little bit, that means winds and weather from the ocean travel further inland and can cause more damage. And the waves themselves that are created by that tiny little difference impacts the shoreline harder and harder and harder, right? And if you have, as the military does, ports and in some cases, bases and airports themselves, like military air bases that are up against shorelines, you're going to have to do shit about it. You're going to have to prepare for that financially long term. The infrastructure of the military is the key here. I'm sorry. I said that was my mistake. I started talking about this in a sort of sensible way, dealing with details. He was saying something about we're going to prioritize not woking, not make woke,
and we're going to get rid of it all.
Awesome. There's 25 cents savings. I feel so much better. Getting rid of all the DEI and woke and climate change BS will save us 6 hours of federal spending and long-term cost us 10 years.
DOGE, we're focusing as much as we can on headquarters and fat and redundancies and top-line stuff that allows us to reinvest elsewhere. We welcome...
That's an important point. Notice he said that allows us to reinvest elsewhere, meaning don't cut my budget, keep my budget exactly the same. We're not taking any money out of this. The military budget is not going down. We're just shuffling money around, which is what every administration does with any of the, the optional spending in a fucking department when they come in. They're not giving it back at all. And that's what this is. This is effectively a defensive, response to they're cutting the Defense Department. Does that mean those are savings that we can give back to the American people? And this is his answer. No. We're going to take money away from stuff we don't like and put it towards stuff we do like. Yes, like every administration does. Boring.
DOGE. And finding those efficiencies is how we save taxpayer dollars.
No, you don't. You're not saving taxpayer dollars. You're just shuffling them around. They're not saved. They aren't saved. Like, this is fucking dumb. They're not saving a dime. He just said so. And they're not going to. Any of their inefficiencies, they're going to take the money that they save from those inefficiencies and they're going to move it to buying more weaponry, or they're going to, put it into an advanced hypersonic missile or something like that. But they're not giving any of it back. So fuck this save nonsense. In the abstract, the only thing I can think of that they kind of think they might mean if they think about it for half a fucking second is, I don't know, maybe they're saving it from being spent on something bad, right? Oh, audio is wavering. I'm sorry. Why is that? It looks good here. What could be? That's on Twitch. Is it everywhere? It's good now. Is it just because I got loud was what it was. It didn't like me. It thought I was being all weird.
How does it sound now? Do I sound much better now? Is this better? Don't worry. I won't hurt you. I only want you to have some fun.
Do-ga-ga-do. Do-ga-do. All right. So, fix it. You gotta give me a little room to make sure stuff is okay. I'm going to be playing around on this stream because basically each of the tires on this car has one lug nut. That's it. I had to get it up and rolling. Okay, here we go.
It's a good thing that, of course, is being distorted through the media, their hyperventilation, and it just goes entirely unreported for the most part.
If it goes unreported, then you don't have to respond to it. Dum-dum. Right? If it went unreported, why do you have to rebut it? If they're not reporting on something that you want to say, then do a press release and leave the fucking press out of it. Why would they report on stuff you haven't even done yet? I'm sorry. let me get this straight. The press is failing the American people because they are not reporting at all on things you think you're going to do eventually to prioritize stuff with the president, something or other. And I'm sorry. I think I might know why. If you want to know why they haven't done anything, they haven't written a story about this. I think they know why. It's because anybody who would try would get like a paragraph out and they'd go, what the fuck am I even doing with my life? There's nothing to report on. They're not doing anything. I'm sorry. This asshole wants newspapers to waste space on their fucking front page, I suppose, because he thinks everything's front page. He should be on the front page. That's Trump's belief. And that's so if he's doubling down on everything Trump does, of course, he wants to be the above the fold and front page and the insert. So this asshole wants news stories done about him before he does anything, pre-budding things that he might do. How is that free speech? I got to say, the only thing this kind of sounds like is the head of the defense secretary of the United States government trying to force newspapers to write bullshit, vapid, good news stories about him so he doesn't feel nervous in his new job. Yeah, Bagsniff. Pete Bagsniff. That's it. Yeah.
Now, the second story in the news.
No. No. You don't get to go to the second. The first story wasn't a story. You start out with them misreporting something about DOGE and you're sitting there with them that they didn't write because they're supposed to know about shit you haven't even mentioned yet. That wasn't one story. The next one is the first one because that was nonsense. This is fucking irritating.
Is our work reorienting the budget that we inherited. We inherited that budget.
Yeah, everybody does when they come into office. Like, why are you any different? The Biden administration did that from Trump 1 as well. Also, they, had to get everyone vaccinated and jumpstart the economy again. But, they still had other shit to take care of. And
1 month ago from the Biden administration, we are refocusing, that's a key word, our existing budget away from the Biden priorities that, frankly, were all over the map to President Trump's priorities of building a lethal fighting force.
I'm sorry. Have our guys been shooting rubber bullets or something? Or are you just mad that our peacekeepers are handing out like bags of grain and helping refugees sometimes instead of just shooting them? This is just macho posturing horseshit.
The media wants to call these exclusively cuts.
Now we're good. This is we're not cutting anything, okay? We're not cutting. We're refocusing. What a bunch of managerial doublespeak.
But it's the opposite, of course, as always is the case.
It's the opposite of cutting. So you're the opposite of cutting, I guess, would be doubling the spending. That would be the opposite. So Pete Hegseth wants everybody to know he's ordered the Defense Department to double its budget on stuff that he'll make up later.
I've got the memo right here.
What memo? I don't give a fuck. What's your memo? Do my stuff. It looks like, by the way, there's a shit ton of stuff crossed out on it. Did anybody notice that? Like there's a bunch of stuff like scribbled everywhere. Like he had they haven't finished. They left the typos in.
It's clear as a bell.
So we can hear it.
Beginning right away, we are pulling around 8% or $50 billion from the Biden budget. We're planning. This is planning.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't. I understand. You're planning. You're not doing anything. Don't worry. I'm not laboring under the assumption that any of this is actually happening.
This year, that we will move away from woke Biden-era non-lethal programs and instead spend that money on President Trump's America First, peace through strength priorities for our national budget.
Yeah. And it'll just be, like there'll be a line item like, this is a peace through strength thing. $20 billion. And refocusing and not woke, $20 billion. That you do realize this is blather, right? You do realize this is just I don't even know why he's fucking wasting his time, other than better him filming this than actually talking to the troops and demoralizing them with this bullshit.
First of all, remember, this is all planning. We're asking the services to plan.
Yeah. You've got a concept of a plan that you're working on planning eventually to think about maybe finding a way to blah, 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 blah.
So it's not a cut. It's refocusing and...
Yeah, it's not a cut, okay? Stop saying it's a cut. We're refocusing the dollars.
Reinvesting.
We're not cutting veterans' benefits. We're refocusing them on armor-piercing bullets. It's not a cut. The money still exists. It's just not going to veterans anymore. And now it's going to depleted uranium so that soldiers can walk around with their dick a half an inch away from a machine gun full of depleted uranium that cooks their fucking sperm and gives their future children birth defects. It's a reprioritization, okay? But all you need to know is it ain't woke, okay?
Existing funds into building a force that protects you, the American people. We also list on page 2, which I've marked up here in our memo.
Your memo? Where am I supposed to get this stupid fucking memo? Is there a copy of this fucking memo? Hold on. Pete Hegseth, bag sniff, memo, sec, def, something. Okay. Hegseth draft memo lays out software acquisition reform purchase joint. Hegseth plans to shrink civilian work. Any force hasn't fired anyone yet. Secretary's guidance on, is this it? The full memorandum. Here it is. This is it. I got you. Yeah. Man, come on. This is, and it's got the mark of the beast in the corner, which I think that's appropriate, I think. Okay, blow this shit up a little bit. Come here, you. Can you not scroll this thing up? What's happening? Okay. I don't know why that wouldn't be. Command up. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I feel like there should be like macho music playing behind me. Let's see, theme and song, whatever. Like this is the memo from the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. All right. Subject: restoring America's fighting force. The Department of Defense has an obligation to the American public to ensure their sons and daughters serve under the best leadership we can provide them. So is a national security imperative. As far as DOD must always be the best position, responsibility, and according to the DOD mission is to win the nation's wars. We must have a legal force that rewards individual initiative, attitudes, hard work. Not this pussy. The executive order of Judge Woodrow, blah, blah. The president, commander-in-chief, prohibited, which I think is the same guy. I'm not sure. They prohibited any preference or disadvantage of individual group within the situation of that activity. Fighting Force Task Force, restoring America's Fighting Force Task Force, Fighting Force Task Force, Fighting for the task force. Yeah. RAFTF, fighting force, fighting task force. You're gonna have a task force different from the fighting force, motherfucker. To ensure compliance. Sorry. Yeah. This is his. This is what they're gonna do. Okay, here we go. The real stuff. Here we go. The real story. This is what. Okay. Promotion and selection reform. The DOD will not consider sex, race, or ethnicity when considering individuals for promotions, command, or special duty. DOD components and secretaries of military department may designate categories of assignment that require exceptions to this policy due to clear operational need. Meaning, you don't think we'll be able to send some like freckle-faced, redheaded dude from Louisiana to be our to go undercover in Muslim territories of Pakistan? Why would my mic be fluctuating? What the hell did it do? What in the world? Because it sounds fine on my end. I think I'm being censored. It's always something. Okay. There we go. Elimination of quotas, objectives, and goals. Yeah, we're not going to have any quotas, no objectives, and no goals. They will establish sex-based, race-based, ethnicity-based goals for organizational composition, academic admission, and career fields. No DOD component will do. Okay. Prohibition on critical race theory. Look at Pete Hegseth's signature. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
I found some web results.
I don't need them.
Show them if
No,
have
thank
them
you.
From your iPhone.
Hey, Siri, no thank you.
Okay.
I don't know why she thought I was talking to her, but that's okay. The strength of the DOD comes from our unity and our shared purpose. Unless you're black. No. We will focus on lethality, meritocracy, accountability, standards, and readiness. And therefore, I resign immediately because I'm completely unqualified for this fucking job. Signed, Pete Hegseth. Dummy.
What is not part of the 8% refocusing of funds? It's stated very clearly here. Southwest.
Yeah, it is cleated very fairly.
Border activities, combating transnational criminal organizations, an audit, nuclear modernization, Virginia-class submarines, the Golden Dome or Iron Dome, one-way attack drones, UAVs, cybersecurity, core readiness, training, the defense industrial base, and it goes on.
Yeah, all the stuff, you're just doubling down on the material gear, not the people. Understood. And we're going to have the Golden Dome. Really? Hold on. Fuck you, dude. So America's not going to have an Iron Dome. We're going to have a Golden Dome. What are we going to do? Piss the missiles away? What are you? Hey, Charlie, why are you drinking all that iced tea? I'm on Golden Dome duty. It's like a scene out of Austin Powers. Just like starts. Quick, these missiles are coming in like extra fast. Eat some asparagus, it'll divert them. Golden Dome. What a...
An audit, nuclear modernization, Virginia-class submarines, the Golden Dome or Iron Dome.
Well, which is it? I'm going to guess he wants it called the Golden Dome because it's based on his piss-colored cotton candy hair.
One-way attack drones, UAVs, cybersecurity, core readiness, training, the defense industrial base, and it goes on. They and other key programs are off the table under this program. They're too.
Yeah, you're not cutting any of that stuff anywhere in it. You're just cutting what you think is DEI shit, and you're not going to save anywhere near the money you think you're going to save. And you're going to take credit for stuff that was already spent, and you're going to end contracts early, and it's going to cost you more than just paying for them.
Important, as are many other things. So this.
Yeah, that's true. Many other things are important.
Great news for taxpayers and for our national security. That's a full stop. We'll just put a period on that one.
Why? Sorry. Look, I feel like I have died and fell into a universe of it's like the Fox and Friends version of Narnia. And by the way, this is the face of a man who knows he just said nothing.
And the third and final bogus story.
bogus.
That is out there is around our reevaluation of our probationary workforce. Now, this is part of something that was mandated by an executive order from the president. Remember, President Trump was elected. He has the prerogative to advance executive orders. Our job is to follow them, and we're doing that.
So you're blaming him because it's unpopular and it's stupid. It was poorly thought out, and there's a bunch of like loopholes in it. And
reevaluation of probationary employees is being done across government, not just at the Defense Department. But we believe in the goals of the program, and our leaders are carrying out that review carefully and swiftly. Now, bottom line, it is simply not in the public interest.
Oh, so let me translate. We are ignoring the president's executive order because it would endanger the lives of Americans. And yet I'm not the Secretary of Defense. I'm responsible for translating real military goals into ass-kissing blather for the president. So he tells me to do something stupid. I come and tell them what he wants done. They tell me why that can't be done. I concoct a Fox News jargon version of it was a great idea. They're going to do that and something else, which is mostly something else. And thanks for thinking of it, they said, and smooch, smooch, smooch. That's the gig.
To retain individuals whose contributions are not mission critical and to restore accountability within the federal workforce. Taxpayers deserve to have us take a really thorough look at our workforce top to bottom, and it will be top to bottom.
Why would you do it top to bottom, especially in a hierarchical system like the military, where people have been in it their whole lives? The idea being is that the people who've dedicated their lives the longest are at the top. It's not like one of the civilian organs of the government where you can be hired right to the top of it. In the military, you have to work your way up. You can't start as a general, right? So you would start at the bottom. Yeah. But then you'd have to kick out a bunch of like Proud Boy white supremacist assholes who just joined because they think it's time for the great day of the rope. So you don't want to make those phone calls to your buddies. I get it.
To see where we can find and eliminate redundancies. Now, common sense would tell us where we should start, right? We start with poor performers amongst our probationary employees because that is common sense and you want the best and brightest. So
yeah, but we gave up on that when you showed up.
We look at headcount, we're going to be thoughtful, but we're also going to be aggressive up and down the chain to find the places where we can ensure the best and brightest are promoted based on merit. And then we're going to go out, we're going to put out a hiring freeze and take more time to identify on a performance-based standard who we're going to hire and reward hard-working employees who are central to the core warfighting mission. So we're going to take a little bit more time, make sure
Right. So what he's saying is this is how you tell Trump you're going to ignore all of his orders because he has no idea how anything works. And if you're going to weed out poor performers, whatever the fuck that means, other than shit like people you disagree with or people you automatically assume were hired because they were of color or because they were gay or because they're a woman or some shit like that. You're going to assume that if they were hired during the Biden administration, it can't be because of merit and they deserved it. It has to be because of woke policies that gave them a head start they didn't deserve. So you're going to cull those people right away. You're going to assume that anybody that Biden hired, he hired only because of the color of their skin. That's going to be the assumption. And you're going to punt everybody in that regard, because this, again, DOGE isn't using AI to do any of this. This is a simple database search. They're looking at hiring dates and they're looking at race and they're looking at gender and they're basically just culling from that list. They just put a little check next to it and those people get a phone call. This has nothing to do with some sort of like master algorithm that picks the best and the brightest. But what he's trying to do is tell everybody that it may look like he's not doing anything, because he's not doing anything.
To bottom, we're doing a review. Those who we need, who are the best and brightest, are going to stay. Those who are underperformers won't.
So you're quitting?
We'll continue to shoot straight with you.
Continue? When are you going to start? This has been ridiculous.
We've got your back. We're motivated to rebuild the most capable military in the world. That's why I'm here. That's what the president has asked me to do. But doing so does require tough decisions.
Why? Seriously, why? Why the fuck would you? What if Biden cocked it up so bad? Why would it be hard? You should be able to walk in and find people. Look at this lazy asshole sitting around. Nobody's doing anything in this department. This whole department's useless. They just made it up. It's all corruption. Cut. Why is it difficult? I'll tell you why it's difficult. Because you lied. And Trump lied. You lied. You spent all last year shit-talking the military. You spent all year shit-talking the generals that got us out of Afghanistan because Trump didn't have the guts to do it himself. He punted because he's a wuss. That's why. You lied. You told everybody it was easy and all they just overrun with woke bullshit, and everybody that got hired was just lazy and nobody qualifies for the military anymore. Nobody can do 10 push-ups and everybody's like they're doing drag shows and they're not even doing exercises, and you lied. You lied. You lied about the troops. You lied about the hard work that they do. You lied about the lives that they dedicate themselves to, and all the ancillary people that work around bases and on bases that aren't soldiers themselves, that have equal worth. You lied about them. That's why you're talking like this. That's why you have to make this video. Because you're a liar. And now you got to clean this shit up. And because it's the same thing with Trump and his fucking Ukraine, Russia, I'll have this done in a day. He lied. He was talking out of his ass. He doesn't even have concepts of a healthcare plan. That was a lie, too. It's all a lie. And now everybody's going, hey, you said this was going to be quick and painless and cheap and bold and beautiful and General Hospital, right? You said this was going to be easy. And it was just because everybody, I mean, these idiots run the place. Everything they're doing is just so stupid. And all you have to do is come in and do these three things, and fucking magically the lights will come on and the chains will drop and everybody wanders out of the cave into the sunshine. The reason he has to make this video is because he lied. He lied while he was on Fox. He lied during his hearing, and he's lying right now. He's just doing the softer politispeak version of it, and he's not lying to us anymore. He's lying to maggots. This video isn't for us. This video isn't for Democrats. This video isn't for independents who are concerned about national security. This is because maggots are getting mad because they are cutting jobs around military bases that these people count on. And red states rely like ticks on a dog on all these military bases and these ammo producers and these weapons producers. And where 90% of the money that went to Ukraine actually went to was red states in the United States of America. And kept those fucking places afloat economically during the downturn caused by COVID, wrenched them back from the edge of fucking poverty. If Russia hadn't invaded fucking Ukraine, the disparity between wealth between blue states and red states would have been exponentially worse, 3 times worse at least, because blue states were recovering. That's where all the, blue states, that's the big cities that are Democrat run, right? They're all full of crime. They have all the crime. Well, they also have all the coffee, sex, and cinema. They also have all the theater. They also have all the companies that make all the shit, that sells the shit in Walmart to the red state people that buy it on a premium and have to work at a fucking Walmart and be on government subsidy just so they can survive, even with the low standard of living in those states. This is an admission of guilt. And it's a bunch of backsliding to protect them, their reputation from all the maggots who are already getting sick of it and are eventually going to realize if there is any synapses left in their brain after the QAnon shit that they've been had.
We are prepared to make them. But in the process, we want to communicate with you directly rather than through the filter of media outlets. And it's not just going to be me. You're going to see Sean Parnell and Graham Allen and others here in the department aggressively ensuring you get the real info in real time.
What he means is they're going to excuse their lack of action by rebutting stories they see in the military, and they're going to take the same whiny, bitchy, defensive posture that Trump does in dealing with the Defense Department. And I think the priority above all for them is we're not going to change a thing. We were lying that all these changes need to be made.
You understand what's really going on at the department. So our warfighters and taxpayers deserve, of course, no less than that. And we'll keep reporting back to you from time to time what we're seeing, and we appreciate your support. We're not going to get everything perfect, but we're going to do it earnestly, and we're going to do it.
By the way, guys, how I've been talking about for a while the stroke of the pen fallacy. I find that bloody irritating, but equally as irritating, I find the perfection fallback in an argument where somebody knows they're losing, and instead of saying I fucked up, they do this. Look, nobody's perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. I think none of us are going to be perfect. None of us are perfect, because calling forth perfection in an argument between human fucking beings is like bringing up infinity in terms of a timescape on whether or not you were late or on time to a fucking movie or a date or a job interview. Perfection is immaterial to the conversation. And anybody who says it is defending themselves by blaming you for your humanity. They're basically saying, look, who the fuck are you? You're not perfect. Your criticisms assert that you must be some level of better than me, and you're closer to perfect than I am. Nobody's perfect. Simmer down. That's what this means. Anybody Musk does it all the time. Trump has started doing it because his brain's turning to jam. But you'll see that in all these guys. Look, we're not perfect, and we're going to make mistakes. Musk said that very thing at the cabinet meeting today. Yes, you're right. But Trump ran on perfect. That is exactly their problem. That is exactly the issue. They ran on perfect. He ran as Santa Claus, and he's got to govern as the Grinch. And there is no excuse.
On behalf of President Trump's leadership in making our military once again the most lethal, badass.
How many badass? It's gonna be awesome. So we're not gonna have these stupid green uniforms anymore. They're gonna be black. They're gonna have big shoulders and stuff like red armbands. I got this whole style choice.
Fighting force on the planet to keep our country safe. God bless you, and we're gonna keep fighting.
You're not a fighter. What do you mean keep fighting? We're going to keep fighting. You're not going to fight at all. You're in an office. You wear a suit to work. Shut the fuck up. You're in the administration that has the House and the Senate. You're not fighting. You have obviously there's some sort of struggle with reality going on. But what are you fighting? What are you talking about? Is it a struggle for you to work your way through a database? Through a fucking like an Excel document? Because that's what it seems to be. Like, that's what he means by fight. Fuck, man, these numbers. These are going to be the most lethal budgets and lethal speeches anybody as SecDef could ever give. People are going to die as I talk. God damn, it's so fucking lazy. Jesus. By the way, hi, chat room. You can see why I have been paying attention lately to the folks that are in the cabinet doing the stuff, because they are, by and large, ignoring everything. They are, by and large, let's see if this is, hold on, stop, go away. There's a big part of this where most of the statements I've seen coming from Rubio's office, from Kash Patel sending that email out, in response to the DOGE email, this video from Pete Ballsniff, or Bagsniff. I think we like Bagsniff, right? Yeah. Anyways, the reason you're seeing this is because they all know Trump's talking out of his ass, and they've got to like kiss his ass while cleaning up the mess. It's fucking embarrassing. Here, I'll show you real quick, if I may. Let's go to here. This dude was at the cabinet meeting today. Not a cabinet member, not sworn in, nothing. And Trump asked him to speak at the cabinet meeting.
To be clear, I think that email perhaps was best interpreted as a performance review, but actually it was a pulse check review. Do you have a pulse? Do you have a pulse and 2 neurons? So if you have a pulse and 2 neurons, you can reply to an email.
That wasn't the issue. Everybody there has supervisors. They report to them, not you, fuckwad. Everybody's laughing. Like these guys are all chuckling to it. And mostly it's fucking Howard Lugnuts, right? Lugnuts is the one who laughs at everything that Musk says and everything that Trump says. It's fucking weird. He does it so much, I think he's laughing at them sometimes and doesn't know it.
This is, I think not a high bar, is what I'm saying.
Nobody cares. They don't answer to you. And giving someone a new task in the middle of what they're doing and making them answer it when you could talk to their supervisor because they actually have one. Here's what you would do is you would talk to the supervisors and you would go, what are the jobs these folks are doing primarily in each of these areas? And you would say, who's doing well, who isn't, performance reviews, and then you'd cull people that weren't performing well. That's how you would do it. As a matter of fact, in this stupid, send out an email, and if they don't answer it back in a certain amount of time, that they should get fired, would actually punish the busiest and hardest working people who had their morning meetings and all this kind of stuff, and they go and do actual shit.
Asks. And I said, can we send out an email to everyone just saying, what did you get done last week? And the president said yes, so it did that.
Yeah, that wasn't the problem. If you just stopped there, it'd be irritating and kind of stupid. But you didn't do that, did you? Hold on. That's the description he gives. This is the description he gave. Run that by me again. What happened? Stupid. Oh, because it won't.
And
hold on. Let's go. Let's see the Musk guys on Monday night will be interpreted. Trying to find the text of it. Let's see. I just want to see it. Just let me look it up. Let's see. I must give an excuse to troll federal workers. Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. People are, yeah. So it wasn't that he said, you can just answer the email. We just sent it out just to see what people do, just a pulse check. It said failure to respond will be taken as resignation. No word on when. The assumption is right away. In a bunch of these areas, it's like, wait a minute, how much can I, about what I'm doing, can I put in a fucking email? If you're in the health industry, right? If you're working with the health industry, how much of that can you not violate HIPAA for a bunch of people or medical studies or shit like that? How about military people? Do you think they could just send whatever they're just send? Where were you? Where are you stationed? What are you doing? How about and all the ancillary staff? Because again, you can divine what's happening on a military base based on what everybody around them is doing, right? They sent how Elon and Musk and Trump sent an email trap. It was kind of what it was. But he goes, okay, this is the email. Here it is. The latest OPM from HR. What did you do last week? Body, please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullets what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. Deadline is this Monday at 11:59 Eastern Time. Again, that part of it wasn't the concerning part. The concerning part was the whole, if you don't do it, you're fired part. Please don't send any classified material. Okay, dude, thanks for reminding me.
Group and I spoke with Lee Zeldin and.
Oh, hold on. This I think this is a live video that loops. That's why it won't. Give me 1 second. Let me fix that. Hi. Good Lord. What a jackass. Let's see. Bum-ba-da-da. Trying to find. I want to find. I might be able to find it in there. By the way, sorry, I don't have the Discord open right here. I'll get it open, staff, so that you can deal with me being on my. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Chamber. There we go. Oh, awesome! Thank you for the audio drops. Yeah, get those in a second. There's a. I'm fairly certain. Let me scroll down. Do we have a Nail it, brother. During my time at USAF, working in military hospitals, civilians that we worked with every day were awesome folks. Many colors served and performed excellently. And couldn't do our jobs without them. Can't recall even one who wasn't lovely and hardworking. Exactly. Yeah, it's CSL. I don't know if we could find the Musk video of him yammering. Yeah. Because I had one earlier, but the audio on it was ass. Like it was like the audio at the actual gathering that the White House put together from their site sounds so bad. I was looking elsewhere to try and find it. Just stupid. So, but Musk himself, let's see if I can, I'll do it. I'll look too as we do this. Musk cabinet something meeting. Yeah, this is the news about Mr. President Trump cabinet meeting. Yeah. It's the ABC one.
So, Elon, if you could get up and explain where you are, how you're doing, and how much we're cutting. And it's an honor to have you. He's been a tremendously successful guy. He's really working so hard, and he's got businesses to run. And in many ways, they say, how do you do this? And, you know, he's sacrificing a lot.
No, he's not. We live in an information age. Information is power. He's getting access to the private information of every American taxpayer. Fuck off with this nonsense.
And getting a lot of praise, I'll tell you, but he's also getting hit. And we would expect that. And that's the way it works.
Okay, cool. Is this the PBS NewsHour? Maybe the audio is better on theirs. Hopefully.
Okay.
Oh, this is his. Oh, I see. This is the whole thing. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
just so you know, he had the HUD secretary do a prayer at the top of the thing. There's Vance and Pam Bondi. He literally had the HUD secretary do the invocation.
Very much. We appreciate you being here, and we've put together a great cabinet, and we've had tremendous.
There's lug nuts and ball sniff, bag sniff. I like bag sniff. You're right. Lil Marco and Doug Burnout, and then Shorty Pants right here, JD Pants.
The success. We've been given a lot of credit for having a very successful first month, and we want to make that many months and years, actually.
Oh, yeah, they also have, it's choppy as fuck, too. Okay, this is the feed that the White House sent out. This is their own camera. So PBS is using this, and so is like a bunch of other sites. It's super fucking weird. It's choppy as hell, to the point where at one point I was like, wait a minute, did they do this via AI? Did they just grab a bunch of shit and shorten it? Did they take out like ums and farts and stuff like that, and it went out almost live using that feed? And the buzz on the audio it sucks.
Probably $350 billion.
What is that? Like, for real? It's the fucking White House. Like, I understand when I have audio problems, but I mean, this desk is held together with shoestrings.
Europe is in for $100 billion, and that's a big difference. So we're in for probably 3 times as much.
All right, whatever. He yammers on, and then does he have the guy? Yeah, this is the prayer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this awesome privilege, Father, to be in your presence. God, thank you that you've allowed us to see this day. The Bible says that your mercies are new every morning. And Father God, we give you the glory and the honor. Thank you, God, for President Trump, Father, for appointing us. Father God, thank you for anointing us to do this job. Father,
sorry, they were appointed by God? Oh, maybe Trump is God. I see. That's Trump was. That's why I look back. Like, are you going to mention that I'm God in this?
we pray you'll give the...
Okay. No, I don't. I even if I think it's BS, I usually don't go after people's if they're praying. I just give everybody deference in that moment. But it would be irritating if I continue to listen to it. Now, this is let's see if we can find Musk in this, and they go to lug nuts, and then they go to there's Hegseth, and he chit chats for a split second, and then they go to there's felon Musk. How far in this was this shit? Jesus. I want to feel like they did it relatively early on, but I guess not. All right, this will be the same on the other audio probably, so we shall see what we shall see.
So I'd like to have Elon Musk please say a few words.
Well,
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually just call myself a humble tech support here because this is actually, as crazy as it sounds, that is almost a literal...
He's wearing his tech support shirt. Yeah, that he got on Amazon, ironically.
Of the work that the DOGE team is doing is helping fix the government computer systems. Many of these systems are extremely old. They don't communicate. There are a lot of mistakes in the systems. The software doesn't work. So we are actually text.
So why aren't you presenting this as a vendor to the Congress who can allocate a demo of the job to you and then you can fucking do it? It's like saying, my team and I have concerns about the debit card system at this bank, so we're just going to barge in with shotguns at some point and get some money out of there just to get a good look at the system and really help them update their, apparently there was this thing where there was a glitch in the system that said nobody had any money in their account, so we decided to go in there with shotguns and make it true.
Oh, it's ironic, but it's true. The overall goal here with the DOGE team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt now...
By the way, the national debt is climate change for the right. 98% of people agree that we cannot sustain this kind of a debt. It's just overwhelming. And within 10 years, the world's going to end. Like he's the Greta Thunberg of the national debt. And I got news for you. The concept of how you pay things off in the next 10 years is going to change drastically anyways. So you couldn't even parse it out. It's one of the reasons why they were stacking debt as much as they were, because there are going to be ways to eliminate it. This is just lazy.
The Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing.
Also, de facto bankrupt is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It's an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here, and taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats. By the way, I mean,
yawn. Can I also say, I don't think my camera resolution went down. It's on autofocus right now. Hold on, I'll see if I can fix that. You turn it off, and there we go. And then that'll be all right. Okay, so the U.S. is not bankrupt, by the way. The United States is not going to go bankrupt. The federal government has this debt and accrues it and the like. But the country itself doesn't. The taxpayer are technically on the hook for repaying this debt, or the U.S. defaults and other stuff. But the states themselves, the individuals themselves, aren't going to get sold for hawk at that point. They're not going to come around like taking people's private property to pay off the national debt. It doesn't work that way. What happens is that the credit and borrowing of the country is wait, who put that in there? No. Yeah, no pro Luigi stuff in here. No. I am against the death penalty, especially the death penalty without a trial. But what I was saying is that these guys, in addressing it, like the federal government itself has this debt, and its ability to borrow is what's on the line. That's what he means by de facto bankrupt. But the U.S. has near unlimited line of credit and or borrowing. The other thing too, Alyosha, is that we're not just the GDP of the United States is not what's the whole factor of our economy, because our national debt, because our country, our GDP isn't just our GDP. It also technically should include any other countries on the dollar standard, or the exchange element of the economy on the dollar standard, which is somewhere in the order of like $9 to $12 trillion higher than our regular GDP. So the world trading the dollar is actually those dollars in existence also play a part in the economy of the world. And so all of those things, our debt to GDP ratio, the U.S. GDP is not the whole of the dollar's economy.
Back them up, but if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why.
Hold on, because we got pro here too. What does that mean? Then no. Then fuck off. Please leave. No.
It has to be done. I'm confident at this point, knock on wood, knock on my wooden head. There's got a lot of wood up there.
So charming.
That we can actually find $1 trillion in savings. That would be roughly 15% of the $7 trillion budget. And obviously that can only be done with the support of everyone in this room. And I'd like to thank everyone for your support. Thank you very much. This can only be done with your support. So it's really, DOGE is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste. And we bring the...
Sorry, you're going to reduce 15% of the fraud and waste? So 85% of the fraud and waste we're just going to keep? Jesus Christ. You mean the overall budget? Talk about... if you can't articulate the actual system you are engaged in, either drawing money from or putting money towards or refining or making more efficient, if you can't adequately describe it, you're too fucking stupid to go anywhere near it.
So people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to DOGE.gov. We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and we...
Yeah, and I did an entire show how most of it is bullshit. A huge portion of things they claim as savings are contracts that ended last year.
We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect, but when we...
there it is. We won't be perfect. It's the perfection fallback.
Make a mistake. We'll fix it very quickly.
No, they didn't. They haven't fixed it at all. They haven't. They corrected one number where they said $8 billion for something that was $8 million. A program that was $8 million, they said was $8 billion. They removed that, and the number went from 55 to 65 billion in their savings. Nonsense.
So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately. And there was no...
Why'd you remove it at all, is the question. And how many things did you remove that you don't realize are important until it's too fucking late? Also, I think VP Trump is taking this very well.
But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September.
She's just napping. I'll just put this thing. Basically, he's decided to put the country on Tesla's auto drive feature and just coast off into the night with his headlights off.
But we can do it, and we will do it. Thank you.
Would you have any questions of Elon while we're on the subject of those? Because we'll finish off with that. And if you would have any questions, please ask. You could ask me or Elon. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Musk. I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything.
Of course he's heard otherwise. Otherwise, he wouldn't have posted that everybody likes Elon. He wouldn't have had to. You can tell the shit he's defensive on if he apropos of nothing comes out and says randomly, like, everybody loves this thing we're doing. Okay, clearly he's hearing a lot of people going, this sucks.
About members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going. And if so, what are you doing to address those, any dissatisfaction?
Hey, Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Is anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy?
I so wish I spoke Korean so I'd really understand what's going on in this meeting.
They have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree.
What? Some? Whoa. What?
They have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled. So
some disagree with what he's doing, but I don't see. Is Kash Patel there?
Trump has put together.
Was he just not allowed in the meeting because he went out against Elon's email?
I think the best cabinet ever. Literally. So, I do not give false praise.
Well, that's a sure sign that you're bullshitting. Anybody who says you guys are the best, and I don't just say that. Good Lord, this is like it's like an open mic night in a conference room.
This is an incredible group of people.
DC cabinet meeting crowds are the best crowd in the world. Am I right? I can't hear you over his snoring.
I don't think that such a talented team has actually ever been assembled. I think it's literally the best cabinet that
Oh, God. Shut up, dude.
has ever had. And I think the company should be incredibly appreciative of people in this room.
Sorry, beg your pardon. So you feel like they're the best and the smartest, best ever, people the most qualified, it's the greatest group of people ever assembled in any capacity ever. And I think the American people owe these people a debt of gratitude for being in the same room together. Get the fuck out of here.
Mr. Musk. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Musk. Are there about half of the government employees so far appear to have responded to your request for what they've been doing over the past week? Is there a timeline in place for next moves for people being fired, and when can the American people expect to see results of that?
Or is this just bullshit, Joel?
Yes. Well, to be clear, like I think that email perhaps was best interpreted as a performance review, but actually it was a pulse check review. Do you have a pulse? Do you have a pulse and 2 neurons? So if you have a pulse and 2 neurons, you can reply to an email. This is, I think not a high bar, is what I'm saying. This is, anyone can accomplish this? But what we are trying to get to the bottom.
Yeah, the question is genuinely, why are they answering to you? If this is the greatest team ever assembled, for real, not second best, not 10th best, 15th best, not well within the top 30, best team ever, then why can't Marco Rubio, as the head of the Department of State, handle his own fucking federal employee review as the leader? If he's the most extraordinary Secretary of State we have ever fucking had, ever. The Ag Secretary, RFK Jr., why can't he handle who should be and shouldn't be working at HHS? Why do you have to swoop in and circumvent their decisions for hiring and firing if they're the greatest cabinet ever? Because it sounds like something you'd have to do if they all suck. Only the worst cabinet in history would need some rando asshole lobbyist rich dude to create if you want to work at this job and you like me, check this box, cootie catcher email that he sends out circumventing their hiring and firing with their bowed heads and their cowed hand stances and their fucking hands in their lap covering their dicks because they're all being emasculated or embarrassed by this process. If they're the best cabinet in the world, why the fuck do they need you? And the fact that you did this proves that you're lying when you say you think this is the best cabinet ever. If you did, you wouldn't have to worry about it. You could go to each department and go, we'll do it for you. We'll help you with this performance review after you guys get situated even. But you didn't. You just you need to cull a certain amount of people from the federal government because this prick wants to extend his $4.5 trillion tax cut, and he knows it's going to blow a hole in the budget, and there's no... This is garbage. And the fact that he even brings this up, that we've got to get close to a balanced budget or we're going to save 15% of waste, fraud, and abuse by 2026, the budget the Senate offers raises the budget $340 billion. The budget from the House, the one that they just passed by one vote, raises the debt ceiling $4 trillion before the tax cut. $4 trillion and cuts Medicaid. Why does it cut Medicaid and raise the debt ceiling $4 trillion? Because $500 billion from Medicaid and $4 trillion for the debt ceiling gives this prick his $4.5 trillion tax cut for the upper 1%. That's why. Shut up. Don't stop talking about the fucking budget. It's a joke. You don't believe it. It's not true. None of these assholes want their department cut. You don't actually want them cut because you've got government contracts. Let me guess. NASA budget's off the table? Gee. Military spending off the table? Wonder why. Making sure that FEMA still exists just so it can buy Starlink? Nobody in that fucking room gives a rat's ass about the budget. Are you nuts? Pete Hegseth was just talking about how they're not cutting the military budget. They're going to improve. They're going to double down. Quite the opposite, if anything.
Is we think there are a number of people on the government payroll who are dead, which is probably why they can't respond, and some people who are not real people, like they're literally fictional individuals that are collecting paychecks. Well, somebody's collecting paychecks on a fictional individual, so we're just literally trying to figure out, are these people real? Are they alive? And can they write an email?
I got news for you, motherfucker. AI can write emails. Somebody with a fake account or a fake existence, if they could just write an email, they're just covered. They just keep getting their fucking check. Get in your fucking private plane and fly around to these places with the cabinet secretary reviewing all these areas. I mean, it's about half of them are in D.C. anyways. Go knock on doors yourself with the cabinet official that's in charge of it, or have them do it and report to you and so you can translate it into dipshit for this guy. But don't pretend you give a fuck about the budget. You don't care about the budget. None of you assholes care about the budget. He's about to blow a $14 trillion hole in it. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Let's see. GOP budget raises debt ceiling. There you go. Colorado Rep. Joe Neguzzi calls the plan a betrayal of the middle class. House GOP releases budget that raises the debt limit by $4 trillion, extends tax cuts. U.S. House Republicans released their budget resolution Wednesday, laying out a vision for raising the debt limit and drafting a reconciliation package that is significantly different from the one the Senate released last week. The House budget resolution proposes Congress pass one bill that would extend the 2017 tax cuts passed by Trump's first term and boost spending on border security and defense while paying for trillions and an increase to the deficit with cuts to other programs. The House budget resolution, which committee will mark up on Thursday, will also raise the debt limit by $4 trillion. The United States has amassed $36.22 trillion in debt. Whoops, over these days. Okay, misguided and dangerous. This is what the Rep. Diana DeGette of Denver slammed. With nearly every House Republican directly engaged in this deliberative process, this resolution reflects our collective commitment to enacting the president's full agenda, not just part of it. This isn't a just the tip agenda. There will be ongoing debates and discussions in the coming weeks, and we remain focused on working through the process to deliver our promises made to the American people. There's so much work to be done, and we're starting on the right path. Democrats predict a substantial portion of those cuts will be made to Medicaid, which is the nation's health care and long-term care program for 80 million people with low incomes, run in partnership with the states. That's Ty Tabor, by the way, on my browser. Where he belongs. Move over here, you silly thing. Okay, there you go. Back to here. This is the one. Let's see. What's in the House budget resolution? 9. Okay. Here's what to know about the House budget resolution. What to know about the plan. They're going to adopt a budget proposal late Tuesday that serves as a blueprint for implementing President Trump's in a 2017 to 2015 vote. The House adopted the resolution with just one Republican joining all Democrats to oppose it. The resolution now goes to the Senate, which has been pursuing its own budget proposal. What's in the House GOP plan? By the way, they're not going to bring it to. I think they're going to scuttle it. Budget resolution spending targets through the Senate's push for 2 bills to address Trump's priorities. House Republicans are pursuing one major bill to address border security, defense, energy priorities, along with $4.4 trillion trillion in tax cuts. Their plan calls for at least 1.5 trillion in spending over a 10-year period, and instructs in spending cuts over a 10-year period, and instructs a number of committees to find ways to reduce their budget impact while increasing spending for several other areas. Okay, here you go. There are areas where spending would increase. 110 billion in additional spending for the Judiciary Committee. That's fucking Comer and Jim Jordan's committee. $110 billion for the Judiciary Committee. $100 billion for the Armed Services Committee. Homeland Security Committee is getting $90 billion. Here's the committees that are tasked with finding the cuts. At least $880 billion in the Energy and Commerce Committee, $330 billion, but they have to cut these. $230 billion must be cut from Agriculture, Education Workforce Committee, Energy and Commerce Committee have to find these cuts. They have to find these cuts from the budget, not are cut from the committee's fundings. Final priority, opposition to the proposed cuts. Opponents of the resolution appointed to proposed cuts, arguing they implicate key programs that Americans rely on. Medicaid in particular came under the microscope. The Energy and Commerce Committee oversees Medicaid, and the $880 billion it is tasked with saving would almost certainly require cuts to the entitlement program. That's right. Medicaid cuts are on the way. And the House, what they will do is preload them in this budget. The cuts are mandated, then whatever the committee proposes automatically goes. So they don't have to pass another thing that draws attention to the fact that they do this. They just leave it to this committee to have to make the cuts. And they won't make all of it. They'll make half of it. But the purpose of it is to make gut-wrenching cuts in Medicaid spending. The budget reconciliation process is dual use sparingly. Okay, we know this. We've been through that shit before. These guys do not care in any way about the budget. It's a farce.
There's a reasonable expectation for the American public would have at least that expectation of someone in the public sector.
Mr. Musk, roughly 1 million employees.
It's not a high bar, guys. Come on.
Roughly 1 million employees have responded so far to this email. Does that mean that the remaining 1 million or so federal employees now risk being terminated? And is it your understanding and expectation when you post a directive on X that the cabinet secretaries will follow that order? Because several agencies have instructed employees that this is voluntary or not to respond.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was like last week, the president encouraged me via Truth Social and also via phone call to be more aggressive. And I was like, okay, yes, sir, Mr. President, we'll indeed do that. The president is the commander-in-chief. I do what the president asks. And I said, can we send out an email to everyone just saying, what did you get done last week? And the president said yes, so it did that. We got a partial response. We're going to send another email. But our goal is not to be capricious or unfair. We want to give people every opportunity to send an email. And the email could simply be...
No, you don't. No. Hold on. No. You sent it out, and then you tweeted that if people don't reply, and you tweeted it. So you didn't even add it. You didn't have the balls to add it to the fucking email. If that's the standard, if the email is what, it tells you got to answer this or you're going to be fired, you don't get to leave that off the email and then tweet about it, assuming that every federal employee has to have a fucking Twitter account to know if they have a goddamn job or not. The fuck's wrong with you? So no, that's not more aggressive. And no, you're not giving people plenty of time. And no, it wasn't a pulse check.
It's too sensitive or classified to describe. Like literally just, that would be sufficient. I think this is just common sense.
And what is your target number?
No, it isn't. It's a common misconception based on the fraudulent idea that somehow this group of elite flacks born of rich families or big landowners in states or, generational wealth dickheads or blood emerald heirs somehow are better than everybody else, and you have to justify the bullshit work that you do while you're sitting on your ass at your stupid desk, avoiding, TPS reports.
How many?
Again, you have to understand, everybody in this room watched Office Space and thought, fuck those people. I hope they all get fired.
Workers, employees, you're looking to cut total.
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well. But if the job is not essential or they're not doing the job well, they obviously should not.
Yeah, they need to know, first of all, and secondly, especially if you find out how essential they were afterwards, like firing all the people who worked on bird flu. In the middle of an avian flu outbreak, this asshole and his team fired a bunch of experts on avian flu. You know why? Because they were hired during the Biden administration and they assumed that they must have been black or women and that they were only hired because of DEI.
On the public payroll.
That wasn't a standard. Those are crucial jobs that need to be done right fucking now.
I'd like to add, wait. I'd like to add that those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. You know, I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. You know, they haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. Don't forget, we just got here. This group just got here.
Yeah, you just got here and you're attempting to fire half the federal workforce because they don't answer to an email and a threat from Twitter. And you don't even know what the fuck they do. You don't even know what their department does. How the fuck could you know whether their job is essential and they're doing it well? There is no standard. There's no standard in the fucking email thing except can you reply to an email? And like I said, anybody who's too busy to waste their fucking time explaining their goddamn job again is probably the most crucial person.
But those people are on the bubble, as they say. You know, maybe they're going to be gone. Maybe they're not around. Maybe they have other jobs. Maybe they moved and they're not where they're supposed to be. A lot of things could have happened. I wouldn't say that Biden ran a very tight administration. They spent money like nobody's ever spent money before, wasted money.
Actually, no, you spent money like nobody's ever spent before. So did Bush, arguably. Biden continued some spending and started lowering the deficit while he was president.
The Green New Scam, all of the different things they spent money on. And you've seen that. We've seen that with some of the things that I read at speeches. I read them and people can't believe when I read them. 20 million here, 30 million here for...
Yeah, these are different priorities you disagree with. That's how shit works. This isn't waste, fraud, and abuse. It's just shit you don't like.
You know, a little educational course on something, circumcision, right? Circumcision.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, circumcision. That's what it was. Huge expenditures on circumcision. We're going to balance the budget on fucking cock flaps.
$20 million to inform the people of such and such a country on other things and other things other than that.
Yes, other things and other things. Sure.
So, yeah, those people are, right now we're trying to find out who those people are that haven't responded. Now, there'll be some agencies, like Marco has people within state that are right now doing very classified, very confidential work, and we understand that, and we've talked, and, you know, we're being a little more surgical. And Marco's doing a lot of things himself. He's and some of the secretaries are. We're going to be going to them. We're going to be talking about it.
Hey, asshole! No, Marco Rubio just got new employees. They folded USAID under the fucking State Department. He's doing 2 jobs now, and he's doing all the paring down and the efficiency stuff on his own without any help from Musk, because Musk doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. They already did the damage to USAID.
Today we're going to ask them to do their own DOGE. In other words, they'll look in their group and I spoke with Lee Zeldin, and he thinks he's going to be cutting 65% or so of the people from environmental. And we're going to speed up the process, too, at the same time.
Yeah. And nothing will give you clean air and water faster than people who can't stop polluters because there's nobody around.
You had a lot of people that weren't doing their job. They were just obstructionists, and a lot of people that didn't exist, I guess, Lee, too. We found a lot of empty spots that the people weren't there. They didn't exist. And I think education is going to be one of those. You go around Washington, you see all these buildings for the Department of Education. We want to move education back to the states where it belongs. Iowa should have education. Indiana should run their own education.
They do. They just get federal funding for areas that are disenfranchised or don't have property taxes high enough to pay for their schools.
You're going to see education go way up. Right now, we're ranked at the very bottom of the list, but we're at the top of the list in one thing, the cost per pupil. We spend more money.
Yeah, but that's because places like California, New York, and Vermont spend a lot per pupil, and their pupils do very well. All the states that spend a lot, the average being $19,000 per pupil. In the United States of America, the average spending at last I checked was about $19,000 per pupil per year, which is not a lot. And that includes food services and the cost of the building and books and the teacher's salary and stuff. And you spread that out over, it's about $19,000 per student over the course of a year. The states that have the best outcomes spend closer to 27 per student because teacher pay is higher. They have smaller classrooms. They have more teachers. So that number goes higher. But it's not like we're just doling out cash to a kid directly. It's all the ancillary costs, the better schools, the better materials, the better computers, the better labs for biology departments, and the better music departments, and the better theater programs, and the better the library, all that kind of shit. Okay. All that stuff is, fanned out per pupil, okay? And those are the schools that have the best outcomes. Those are the kids that go to elite universities. Those are the kids that end up being the biggest earners in the fucking country because they get $27,000 on average spent on them. If the average is 19, that means a lot of kids are getting way less, closer to 9 or 10,000 per pupil in a lot of the states. And which states and what do you think the outcomes educationally do those states present? Huh? Oh, okay. Well, I can't have him on the screen and show this. So 1 second. Yeah. She's a little skittish. Oh. Cinnamon. This is Cinnamon. This is Cinnamonkey. Hi, Cinnamonkey. Cinnamon's a kitty. Hello, Cinnamon kitty. Hello. Hello. You're very nervous? Are you very nervous? You're a little nervous, little girl? You did okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? What's that doing? What is it doing? Hello. Cinnamon just was broken. She no longer works. All right, don't take offense. And she's just been adopted. She's actually got a home. She's going to Ethan's new house. Very exciting. I know she's a grand fur baby. That's right. It's Summer's first grand fur baby. Hi. Hello. Hello, sweet girl. Oh, you can't back off. You'll fall. I got to hold you. Silly. I got to hold you. There you go. Hold on. I know. You're squiggly. I know. I'm talking too much. Okay. Hello. Sorry, I'm talking very loud. Apologize. Although I think probably my whispering makes it even worse. That's a kitty. That's a kitty. You okay? There you go. Now she's relaxing. Okay. Want to go back to Mama? Oh, it's the fan. So funny. I feel like she's growing while she's been here. She feels longer than she was yesterday. Yeah, she was running around like crazy last night. We were keeping her in the bathroom next to our bedroom, because it's the isolated space where, we can keep track of her and feed her and make sure that she's got a little, so we have a litter box and food and water and toys and a scratching post in our bathroom floor. Basically, it's like a little kitty camp that's going on. But she's good. She's, she's bonding with everybody else. Murphy's being a jerk, I think, right? But Chip's acting like an Uncle Chip. And yeah, that's Cinnamon, aka Cinnamonkey, aka Cinnamaniac. AKA chocolate chip. So that's really sweet. Actually, that's pretty nice. I went over. That was good. I think we should end on that because nobody needs to listen anymore of Trump after you've seen a cute, adorable cat like this. And I'm just lucky I got my system up and running. So sorry about the fading audio part of it. I'm not quite sure why that would be or why it would waver at all. There's no real reason that I can't figure out at all. I'll work on it. Maybe it just needs to, I don't know, simmer down and anything. But I will say, chat room, there we go. I'm going to keep chipping away, no pun intended, at this setup. And audio was okay. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, fading in and out once in a while randomly makes no sense to me. I'm not quite sure what would have caused that. It might have been just compensating with audio, like the volume. So I'll have to tweak around the edges on that in particular. But I do think, well, let's see. Why would this shrink? Silly thing. I did do one thing. Can I show you something else? That I did one thing before I go, because I feel like we're going to need it sometimes. And I think it's this one. Yeah. So let's take a listen to Trump talking again now.
People than any other country in the world, and yet it's Denmark and Norway, Sweden, and I hate to say this, and you know, we're going to get along very well with China, but it's a competitor. They're at the top of the list. They're among the top 10, usually, and they're a very big country, so we can't use that as an excuse, right?
Right, that's true. Can't use that as an excuse. I feel like sometimes we just kind of need that to take the edge off. I can't do a face filter yet, but I'll work on it. While I'm messing with this. But on that note, I will let's see. I will leave you guys. Hold on. I will leave you guys with this. And tomorrow, I'm in LA because I'm doing that event with Brian Karam and Tom Arnold at the Comedy Chateau in Los Angeles tomorrow. And details on my Blue Sky and all that kind of stuff. And you should follow Brian Karam's Substack as well. Doing that tomorrow night. And then 9:30 is the show on Friday at Flappers, 9:30 p.m. I will also more than likely be doing radio from LA, just so I don't get, 9:30 means 10:30 means 11:30 means midnight by the time I'm out of there. And so driving back at midnight, I've done it before, and I might, who knows, I might be up for it. Who knows? If I don't do anything much Friday except the 3 shows. Boston Brian's coming up in 10 minutes. I feel like I should toss it his way. I wish you would, let's see if we can find the ability to do that. Maybe I'll just let the end screen keep playing. Let's go to Twitch and see what we can do about the thing and try to do the thing with the thing and do another thing. See what we do. Let's see. Hopefully he'll be up and running before too long. Let's see. There's a raid in here somewhere. Following, because I know we're following him. I just don't think he's in there yet. Nope. Don't. Yeah. So you guys will be able to jump over to him. I'm not. Let's just hang out till then. I'm gonna go take care of the kitties. And I mean, I can't pass up some time with that. I just can't. And I've still got tweaking to do on this. If I pop back on tonight for a little bit and I'm testing my system, please forgive. I recognize it'll be irritating. I get it. All right, here I go. Bye. This is my attempt at, there we go. Yeah. All right. Oh, I need a graphic for that thing, I think, right? Let's see. Titles. Do this guy. Yeah, throw this over here. Pow. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right, I should probably put the alert box in here as well, right? Let's throw that in there. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Okay, give it a try. Oh, thanks, William. Look at that. Okay, now I gotta add this to the vertical scene. There we go. There we go. That's nice. There we go. Yeah. Cool. Looks good, you know. It's peaceful, I think. What do you think? Hit that like if you hate it.
Michigan gave us Motown.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.